right. It is a beautiful, snowy Friday night here. And we've got some fur handling to take care of. We got to do a few things. So we're going to flesh a raccoon and board him. But I'm going to get him down and brush him real good. Put him outside for a bit so he gets the fat, nice and cold so it pushes real good. And then I'm going to unboard that raccoon. I'm going to pull him off the board. I got to turn this coyote. So we got some stuff to take care of tonight. But I'm gonna get a few things out of the way here. Move that. Turn this around so you guys can really. I feel like sometimes I don't do a very good job of keeping everything in the camera. Okay, so this raccoon is a huge, huge raccoon. Just a rotund fella. Big old guy. Big as they get. I think I'm gonna wait till I got a few people in here. We'll see what happens. Okay. Just gonna prep some, oh shit. Man, this Havlon knife has just seen better days. I wonder if I can do anything about fixing it. I don't know. Okay. So I'm just going to do a few things to prep here. I'm going to sharpen up the old cutting utensils. Hey, now there we go. We're getting some folks in here now. So here's what we are gonna do. Tonight we are gonna flesh a raccoon and do some raccoon fur handling. There you go. Okay. Ask about. I'm even blue. What the hell? Man, you get some real weirdos in here right at first on these things. It's like it never fails. The very first people that come in is just like the most random crap you've ever seen in your life. They definitely have no interest in what's actually going to happen. So if you did just join, yes, I'm random. So if you did just join, we are going to do some raccoon fleshing and do the fur handling on it. I'm now staying for the whole thing. You better ask good questions too. If you have no idea what this is, I'll show you. But I gotta sharpen some stuff real quick. Okay. So this is a raccoon. Well, it was a raccoon, now it's just a raccoon fur. So that's the belly, and this is the back. So what we're doing is we're gonna scrape, see all this fat and stuff that's in there? All that fat, that's gonna come off. But to do that, there's a few things we need to do to prepare him. So I always do this on all the animals that I flesh, or scrape, or whatever you want to call it. I always do this, is I brush him really, really well. As well as I can brush him is what I do. So Just start up here on the face. Really brush him good. Just makes them nice and pretty and keeps them where they're gonna, keeps them where that fur is gonna lay right as you're working on them. So we'll just brush him out like that. It's a really big raccoon. There's that, you know, that tail that everybody knows exists. Like they see that this is one of the most recognizable animals in the United States. So people see this thing and they'll know what it is. Is that real fur? I mean fur. Does this hurt the raccoon? Did you kill a wolf? Do you tell the raccoon? Said hi. No, no wolf, just a raccoon. So we're gonna get this one kind of prepped up and roll them out. So see all this fur on the belly. They don't really have that much fur on the belly. So then that's the raccoon there. You can see the back versus the belly. But he's got no innards, no skeleton, no nothing. So what we're gonna do is we need this fat to get really cold so it pushes well. So we're just gonna take him, we're gonna roll him like this. See, all this fat up here is all soft and jelly, and we need it to firm up a little bit. Pull the arms out. There we go. Wow. You like hunting? Yes, I do like hunting. I like hunting a lot. But this animal wasn't hunted. This was a trapped animal. I caught this one. So we're gonna let that sit right there. Let that fat get cold and harden up. And while we do that, while that fat's getting harder, we are gonna do some other stuff. I'm gonna pop this door open real quick. Okay. So it's like 10 degrees out here right now. So what'll happen is this air is gonna hit this fat and it's gonna make that, solidify like that. It's gonna be cold in my garage though. Well, I sub. Did you kill it? Yes, I did kill it. Yep. So I killed that one, and then let's get this one off the board. So this is what it's gonna look like. This is what it'll look like when it's done, right? So this is what's called a boarded raccoon. So this is ready for sale. But we gotta get this one off the board because I need this board to put that raccoon on here in just a minute. In my country, it's also snowing. Yep, it's good and snowy out there. You know, like we get 3 inches of snow, and that's like a lot. Where did my pliers go? There they are. So we're just gonna pull all the staples from the tail here. It's not stapled in crazy good, so it shouldn't be too hard. But now that we got those out of there, we'll have to flip him, and there you go, there's these ones. Since we get those out of there, we'll have to flip him and actually get all the staples out of the fur. There we go. Once his skin gets, you know, solid and like it's like cardboard. I don't have snow in America this year. I got it last year when it turned 2026, when it turned 2025. Hello, whoever said hi there. What country are you in? I'm in the US, I'm in the States. There we go. Okay. So now we're just gonna go through here and we're gonna pull all these staples. try our best not to lose any of them. Because if we lose them, we're going to have to go finding them. This is probably not the most interesting part of this deal, but I promise if you stick around, you'll learn something. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, here, feel free. One of my deals just decided it was gonna snap because it was cold. Gosh dang, man. Where's my needle nose pliers when I need them? Come on. There it goes. Maybe I should have taken this off of this board before I fired this stream up. Good night. Make it look like I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. There's one. So there's a ton of staples in the bottom of this thing because you gotta make sure that it's gonna be, secure to the board and held down well. One good thing about it is when this is soft, it's hard to get these staples to take without ripping through. But once this pelt's dried, it's a lot easier to work on it. There's my little screw. Gosh dang, that's what I was looking for this whole time. There we go. Struggling because I couldn't find the tool that I specifically got out to do this. There we go. There we go. What are you making? So these are dried pelts from the animals I've killed. And then what I make from them, I won't make anything until I tan them. But I'll make like hats, gloves, earmuffs, stuff like that. It is going to get cold in here quick, fast, and in a hurry with this door open. That one needs the pliers on it. It's getting cold. There it goes. But so right now what I'm doing is I'm just taking this, skin off of this board. So that way I can use the board on this animal right here that I've got ready to flesh. Okay, so that's all the staples out of the bottom of the legs there. Flip them over. Now we got to start pulling all the staples out of the tail. This is the hard part. I may not staple this next one. I may nail it or something so they're easier to pull. This is really annoying. Okay, let's just get this sucker off this board, which is also probably easier said than done. Come on. Everybody says they tighten up on these boards. They were not joking. I think on this next one I'm going to have to use a belly board. Here, let's do this. There we go. kind of get him to let go there. There we go. Get this sucker off of there. Come on. There's just no good way to get them off there. I'm gonna use a belly board on the next one. I'm gonna have to, because I'm not fighting these again like this. Ugh. Good grief. It's on there tight as can be. What to do now? What to do, what to do. Did not think this part through very well, it looks like. Okay. Come off of there, you. So I can just hook the arms on there just a little bit and it moves ever so slightly. Okay. If I can get the face to let go, I think I can probably get it off of there. That is much easier said than done, because I did a very good job drying this thing and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get it to let go. This might be a permanent fixture on this. Oh, there we go. There. That might have helped out a little. Get it to let go just a bit off that belly. Come on. Why are you being like this? There we go. Let's see what that does. Can't do that. Can't do that. That'll rip him. I might have just have to sacrifice this board. Damn. I do not want to do that. I can't rehydrate this hide. That really sucks, man. That really sucks. Bummer. Oh, see, I can't do that or he'll just tear. Okay, well, I think that's gonna, I'm just gonna have to, whenever I go to get him off this board, I'm just gonna have to completely rehydrate him. But he's gonna be on there till I tan everything, because I can't get him off there. I can't get him off there without tearing him up. I'm not gonna tear up a hide just to get him off the board. I got more boards. Okay, let's see if this fat's good and hard yet. Not yet. Okay, we'll do this other coyote while we'll do this coyote while we're waiting. So this will go much easier than that one was. This will go quick, fast, and in a hurry. So this is a coyote. And this is on a wire stretcher, not a coon board like that. And I caught this coyote a couple days ago and got him, you know, fleshed, skinned and everything. Take his ear pins off. But when you catch coyotes and you stretch them, you have to get them off of the board, and then you do what's called turning them. So you hear how he's kind of sounds like, you know, paper or whatever. He's got that like crinkle to him. That means it's time to turn him. So he didn't tan good. Oh, that's where, okay, that's where his tail was hanging earlier. Just didn't dry out good there. Okay, so you just take them like that. You start rolling them out. One piece at a time. Just like that. Hold it a little bit there. I might have let him go just a bit too long on the board. One way to, but I have to roll him, you know, I don't have a choice. I'd have liked to have been out here doing this earlier, but I had some stuff I need to take care of first. I prefer to do this, so like I always do the fleshing and everything in the evenings. And I prefer to, you know, just give them, you know, a few hours to set up and then go do this part. There you go. Now we're cooking. And then do this part, but it don't always work out for me like that. You know, I got a full-time job other than this, and sometimes you just got things you got to take care of. What are you making? No new chats. That should be one of the last pulls right there. Man, coyotes just got a real particular kind of smell to them. Where it ain't bad, but dang sure ain't good either. There we go. Okay. Roll his nose back out flat. Roll his lips back out. Get him good and centered up there. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to pull his ears back through so we can pin them forward. There we go. So when we pin his ears up, we'll pin him up like that. Okay, I'm just gonna give him a good snap here, Get him good and snapped out, good and loose. And then he's gonna go right back on this stretcher right here. You want to make sure that when you put them on there as centered up as possible, because they have a tendency to kind of jump the rail wherever they were on there before. Hook his little arms back in. He needs to turn, he needs to go around to the right a lot. Somebody in town thinks they need a hot rod. Come on, you. Just work with me. There it goes. Now we're centered. Nope, I lied. See, it doesn't want to center up because I had it on that board for too long. I had it on the wire for too long. And now it's got a divot where I had it on the wire, and it doesn't want to center up because of it. Okay, there we go. I got it that time. Just for a moment. Even if just for a moment, it's better than not at all. Okay. So now, I'll pull down on him like that and get his belly tightened up here. And so I'll just take the legs and run the notches through the same holes that I had it through earlier. Pull down on that one good. Come up to this leg. Run it through that one. Oops. Pump it through there. Pump it through there. And then pull down. You want to really snug them up best as you can. And then this tail, yesterday I put some borax in there so it's already drying up good. Sup, I'm 11 and I go hunting with my dad. That's cool, man. You're lucky you have a dad to take you hunting. My dad started taking me hunting when I was a little older than you. We'll just pin these ears forward like they were. Just like so. Okay, and then we're gonna brush him again. So see how the fur is like, I'll show you. See how that fur is just kind of messy and scraggly looking? After we brush him, that'll all go away. He'll look totally different. He'll have a nice pattern to him. You'll see where the V on him and everything is. Right there. We're gonna brush his tail good. He's got a cool little black spot right there on his tail. They don't always have that. They typically have a black tip, but they don't always have a black spot. But we're gonna brush him down nice, and as he dries, this fur will set, and it'll be nice and smooth, just like this. Let me show you what that final product looks like. So now, he's nice and smooth. You can see his pattern well. You see his little V right here. Some of them have a really, really pronounced V right here on the neck. This one doesn't. He's more of just a bland colored coyote, but he's still a really nice coyote nonetheless. Nice big dog. Uh-oh, we got issues. That didn't hold. Means now we gotta do it again. I hate having to redo stuff. I should just do it right the first time every time. That don't That don't always work out neither. There we go. Okay. So we'll brush them down like this. See where you hear the brush there? Right there and right there. That skin is super thin there. And that's why it's like that. Or not the skin, the fur is really thin right there. That's around there where their bellies and stuff are, or loins. And that's just like really, really thin skin. So it's actually not worth, the belly's not worth anything. The part that's worth something is from here to here. So they make into, blankets, and they put it around like the hoods of people's jackets and stuff like that. What are you doing? So this is just some fur handling from some animals I trapped. Oh man, that guy that was out there earlier did some burnouts. Yep. So this is the fur handling part of trapping. It's one of the more important parts of it. And then here in just a second, I'm going to show you how, this is a raccoon. I'm going to show you how to get all this fat off of him. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now because he got good and firmed up from the cold here. So I'm going to shut this door. I'm going to go off camera for just a second. I'm going to shut this door. Gosh dang it. Everybody left. I'm going to shut this door and then start working on fleshing this raccoon out. There we go. Okay. There we have it. All right, so let's turn the camera just a little bit so we can see. Okay. All right, so now comes the fun bit. Grab my tools here. Fold up the towel. Alright, so on raccoons, you want to start basically right here above where the ears are. And you want to just kind of get a good shave going on right there. And get that started working just like that. See that? So we're going to shot him. Okay. So we'll work all that off of there. And then we'll use the sharp side of the knife. Cool, we got another one in here. So we'll use the sharp side of the knife and just ever so slightly shave. Looks like we caught the fat. Ever so slightly, we'll just start to shave this bit down because we don't want this meat on there. See that? Okay, so then we'll turn to the dull side of the knife. Okay, turn to the dull side of the knife and push all that down. Push it all down past the ears, right there. Okay. So they've got a little more work to do here on the face. So raccoons have a lot of fat on the cheeks. So like you see all this and all this. I'm gonna do my best to get all that off of there as well. Especially right here because this face, this one's gonna be a wall hanger. Oh, look there. This one's gonna be a wall hanger. So I'm gonna just ever so carefully trim this up. There we go, see that? All that needs to come off there. And then right here, can just take the sharp piece of the knife and shave that. Looky there. We don't want to cut the ears. It's all about the amount of pressure you put on the knife and the angle that your knife is at. I thought I was about to make a giant mistake right there. Okay. All right, so we'll get that started rolling on that, and then we'll flip them around. Gosh dang, flip, dang you. They have so much fat on them at first that it's like, it's really hard to do anything with them. So we'll turn them there, and then we'll get all this cheek meat. So you can see right here, right there by that lip, that's got to come off. And then right now I'm just cutting, shaving it off with the sharp side of the knife. So here I'm going to cut away from the ear. So at first I was cut towards the ear, now I'm going to cut away from the ear. Just like this, see? We'll get all that crud and fat. Get all that nonsense off of them. You don't want the hide to roll on you like it almost did there on me just now. Okay. Okay, now we better do the bottom side. Just right there. I'm just gonna get a good bite on that. Push it down. Perfect. Just like that. Okay. So now, roll him onto his back. Right there. Pin him against the board and start shaving. We're just gonna shave just enough to get that fat rolling, like that, see that? Because we don't want to do them up too thin. You don't want to do them too thin there. And then once we get to a certain point, we can flip our blade around and start pushing that fat instead of shaving. I don't think we're there yet though. I think we need to keep shaving it down just a little bit. So let's, just push and shave just a little further. This is a big, tough, old raccoon, so I may end up having to shave this whole freaking raccoon, which I am not enthused about. But I'd rather my fur quality be really nice, you know. Okay. So we're coming to an arm. Okay, now that'll push. You see that? Right there's not going to push. Okay. There. See how that just pushes down right there? That's what we want to get to. So we'll roll him again. Once again, he's on his belly. Just get a hold of that fat. Push it down like so. Roll him to his side again. Okay, so now we're back to having to shave. So that's that fat and tissue on the sides really likes to hold on there. That belly where I was just shaving on his belly there. Ain't nothing to worry about, but here on the sides, we're gonna, oh, that's what I get for, gosh dang, I just put a big hole in that arm. Damn. Every freaking time I work a raccoon, man. I just don't catch enough of them. I don't get the chance to practice very often. Dang it. It's not so bad, but now I really have to be careful when I get down back over there. It's what I get for trying to talk and do this at the same time. Of course, on these buggers, I might have made that mistake even if I wasn't talking. So now we're on his back here again. We're just going to keep shaving. See how that just trims right off? There we go. That'll push. Okay, so now we're gonna, see now we're here practically to his armhole. So what I'll do is I'm gonna put his arm on the beam here and then shave this down. See there? Just like that. Basically just pushing that. So here's his head here. I'm just pushing all this to the middle. And I'm gonna roll this arm all the way around and get all the crud off of it. Here I'm not shaving, I'm just pushing. So on these knives, this is a special knife called a fleshing knife. You have a dull side and you have a sharp side. On the dull side, you're able to just, you know, push the fat instead of cutting it away. So right there, we're actually about done with his arm. So just push that fat to the bottom, just like so. Okay, and then we're gonna come here, we're gonna do the other arm. There we go, like so. Oops. There we go, like that. See, here's where I messed up earlier. Now I got this hole right there. I have to get all that fat. Oh man, see that? Okay. We're just gonna clean that right up. All right, so now that'll push down. I got a little hole there, but if I really need to, I can sew that up to take care of it or something. I'd rather not do that because I'm not a very good sewer, but it beats the heck out of losing a bunch of money on this hide. Okay. So right there, now we're back to being on the back side of this thing. And I think we're pretty much to the point where, yep, looks like we can just push now instead of having to shave everything. Cool. There we go. Is there any new questions in there? If you're that one guy in the chat there, and you have any questions at all about what I'm doing, you should ask. or if you're just wanting to listen to the soothing sound of my voice, you can certainly do that as well. Gosh, dang, these suckers got a lot of fat on them. So this time of year, these coons are like at their fattest. I mean, they are stocked up and ready for winter. See how that just freaking pushes down like that? When we get to the bottom of this thing, it's just gonna fall off. There's a few places on this thing where I'm gonna have to go back around for a, kind of like a second pass. I'll have to go back around for a second pass. See that? That looks good. That looks really good. All right, so we're on his back again, and this is one of those points where things start to get difficult again. So we're gonna just shave him, cut right through that meat that holds it on. Not even worry about just trying to push him. We're just gonna get all the crud off. See right there? Push all that, shave the rest. And then see, like underneath him, right here, this is all fat. So that's all gotta get scraped. So what I'm doing is I'm shaving off a chunk, and then I'm coming through and scraping the fat off. Right here, this is gonna be one of the points where a lot of crap comes off of this dude. Get him up here again where I can work. Okay, so it's all coming off in one piece, which doesn't always happen. So I'm just gonna keep rolling him around. This is right between the back legs. So there's a piece here I have to be really careful with so I don't like accidentally cut another hole in the pelt. I think I just went past it. Maybe not. Nope, there it is. Okay. So I have to be really careful right there. So here's gonna be our first big chunk of it that actually comes off. Pull it up. I got all this fat and stuff around them back legs. So I'm just gonna get the big piece off, and then I'll wipe my board down and go back and get the rest. Gosh dang it. Come on, you. There we go. Okay. Big chunk off of here. Oops. trying to be careful to not get fat and stuff on the fur itself, because that's really, really hard to tan, and you can have a lot of slippage and stuff if you do. There you go. Tail out of the way there. There's that bit. What the hell? Good night. All right, so the last bit of fat is hanging on right here on this leg. It's gonna get scraped off. Okay, so take this off. And then I'll show you, look, this is all fat that came off that raccoon. What a fatty 2x4. All right, I'll wipe this beam down a little bit. I think I'm gonna use a paper towel. So I like to not make a mess here because I'm in my garage and it is attached to my house, but sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. You're just gonna make a mess. There we go. We'll just do our best to clean it up in the morning. I'll have to put down some salt tonight to dry up this fat. Okay, so now we're gonna put this raccoon back on the scraping board. We're gonna go over him again just to make sure we got everything, because I don't want any issues with this thing as it's drying. The way you keep those issues from happening is you just make sure that he's scraped good in the first place. We can take nice, big, long, broad strokes over him. Make sure that we do a good job getting all the little bits off. So as you can see, right here's a line right there where I'm pushing more fat down. See that? Doing my best to get every little bit off of there. So here's that bit I was talking about being careful with earlier. That's actually where the penis is, because if you're not careful, you'll go right through that sucker. That's not super duper important, because what we're gonna do here in a minute is we're going to cut it around there to make what's called an inspection window. Scrape all this crap down. Okay. So now we're back down here to the legs, and you can see I've still got quite a bit of fat on those legs. So that's all got to come off. I'm just gonna push, give it some juice when I'm pushing there. Because if you leave this on, you're gonna have one hell of a mess and one hell of a stink too. It'll start stinking up your house, stinking up your shed, wherever you're doing this at, it'll smell it up. There we go. Just like that. Okay. All right, and then we'll come around to the middle of the back here, right where the tail's at. Some of this out of the fur. See, I've got some fat here still. That's going to go. The tail will have you know, a little bit of fat in it. We'll do that very last. Let's turn to this other leg. Get all this off of this leg. Come on. There it goes. This fat is getting on the floor in here and it's making everything slippery. There you go. Just a little more on there. There we go. Okay, so now wipe that beam off again. And we're gonna scrape all the crap here out of the tail. So see, I done messed up big time. That's a chunk of meat in that tail. We definitely can't have that. Okay, so then we're gonna just push everything out of the entire tail. They got a tail that's a lot longer than you think they would have. Let's put it that way. So you want to just kind of scrape it all off there best you can. So I got that side. Now let's get this side. Okay. Cool deal. Wipe that out of there. Sweet. Okay. All right. So that is a fleshed raccoon. Just like a little white tube, sort of. So I'm gonna hang him here for just a second while I get the stretcher out. I'm gonna turn this camera so you can see better right here too, because this is where we're gonna be working on him at. So let's clean this knife up real quick too. So we're gonna lay him out here real quick and kind of brush a little of that fat off of him, especially off the legs and off of the tail, because that's gonna be one of the places that it's really, really obvious if there's slippage. You can't hide anything. So you have to just reduce damage as much as you can. And brushing is a really good way to reduce damage. So see all that? It's a lot of that's fat that come off. It's pretty gross, but it's got to be done. Okay, there we go. All right, let me grab one of these stretchers real quick. I think, okay, that one's too short. Man, I may just have to stretch him on a dang. Yeah, that's too short. That's not gonna work. Okay. Let me see if this coyote is, or if this bobcat is ready to come off of the board. Okay. So this is a bobcat. So we're gonna unboard this bobcat and then put this coon on the bobcat board. Gosh dang, I don't want that fat on there. Get off of there. Okay. Mucho better. All right, so this cat is really, oh man, he's just not dry. Dang. Okay, well, that's the answer to that question. That can't be done. Yeah, he's just not dry enough to pull off there yet. Man, that is not a good smell. Not good. We're gonna have to do something about that here real quick. Where's a belly board? So we need this cat to dry good. That's not gonna work. I need this cat to dry good. That's what I need. And he is not drying well at all. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run a board in there to help him kind of do what he's supposed to do. There we go. Okay. All right, well this coon's gonna have to go on a coyote stretcher. I hope I didn't mess up that cat. Okay, all right. This is such a massive raccoon that I think being on this coyote board is not going to be a problem. Oh yeah. Yep, we're fine. We are A-okay. So on coons, the length is more important than the width. So we're gonna have to really, pull them down good and tight. So we'll get his legs here, and we'll just really pull him down. Okay. So let's cut our inspection window real quick. Actually, let's go ahead and stick him. We'll stick him and then do our inspection window. So we want to have a real good stick on this dude. So I'm gonna just really pull that on there. This one. Just tough critters, man. Tough critters. I don't want to have to come in here and redo any of this. I want it to be good to go the first go around. pull down on that. Stretch those down as good as we possibly can. And then here is where we're going to cut our inspection window. And it needs to go from right above the penis down and cut this piece of the leg. So it's going to go from here. There. Where's my headphone? Okay. Oops. There we go. So that might not be quite big enough for an inspection window, but this is going to have to do. Because there's one big dang raccoon. That's all there is to say about it. This is a ginormous raccoon. And that's it. So to help this out, I'm going to put a few clothespins right here. So it's wanting to pull up. This is why I wanted to put them on that other board that I couldn't get the other raccoon off of. I'm going to have to do something about it. I'm going to have to rehydrate him and tan him, so that way I can get my board back. I don't catch that many raccoons, so it's really not too big of a deal, but I definitely don't want to have more problems than I currently do. All right. I need like a skinny piece of wood to do this next part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clothespin his tail open in a few spots. Come down here to the tip of his tail. Pin that. There we go. Good grief. Good grief, them dogs were going bananas. We'll just do our best to clothespin his tail to this board so he dries right. Just a tiny bit of borax in his tail because I don't want it to close up on me. All right, that is an extra large, extra large raccoon. Good grief. I'm gonna trim up his arms a little bit too. And then these we will hang upside down and let the fat drip off of his belly. Yep, I wish I could have used that cat board, but the cat wouldn't fit on a coyote stretcher, so kind of don't have any options there. But it's all right, we made it work. We made it work. All right, if you made it this far in the stream, I really appreciate you watching. I'm gonna leave it open for just a couple more minutes. If you guys have any questions, you should ask, because I'm just gonna clean some stuff up and then I'm gonna hop off of here. And like I said, I really appreciate you guys watching. It means a lot to me, and thank you very much. And like I said, if you do have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.